Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Timecop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Entering the world of Crisis on Infinite Films, brought to you by All Too Real 2 Podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame, I'm waiting for my husband in Carter. I can't sing. I could play, but I can't sing.
It was beautiful.
By the way, this would actually sound better as an end credit song than what they use for the action movie. I am a time cop. Oh, sorry, I ruined the.
Oh no,
surprise.
What are we covering? Nobody knows because they didn't read the title when they
right.
You press play on the episode.
Time cop. Okay, sorry.
So, as Sesame alluded to, or flat out said, today on the show we are covering the 1994 action sci-fi film Timecop. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. Or TC, as like the hardcore fans call it.
Timecop, TC?
Yeah.
And then they call him JCVD. So,
yeah. We call ourselves timers or the time, TC.
Yeah. I call myself a time head.
Cool.
It's a thing I do. I wear a big clock around my neck like Flavor Flav. And
wait a minute. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Except for my clock on the face, it has a picture of JCVD on it, and
stuff like a cassette tape company. Like, go get yourself some JCVDs, man. We're running out. Either
that or it's like a new kind of venereal disease, a JCVD.
Yeah,
it's a Jesus Christ venereal disease.
Oh. You know what happens during those like really big like Pentecostal churches for like thousands of people? You know, some of those people are banging each other. I'm just saying, just statistically speaking, someone has to be like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a 0% chance where at least two people are like, it's just not happening. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, I've watched The Righteous Gemstones. I know how fucked up the big mega churches can be. Anyway, so
exactly.
So Timecop here, according to the Internet Movie Database, the short synopsis here is Max Walker, an officer for a security agency that regulates time travel, must fend for his life against a shady politician who's intent on changing the past to control the future. Mm-hmm. The film was directed by Peter Hyams, who also directed 2010, The Year We Make Contact, The Relic, Outland, A Sound of Thunder, The Musketeer, Black Sabbath Time Machine, a short. I don't know what that is. It's like about the band or something. He also directed the movie Stay Tuned with John Ritter. You ever seen that? Yeah,
that's a movie.
Mm-hmm. He also directed Sudden Death with JCVD. And among other films and TV episodes and whatnot. This was written by Mark Verheiden and Mike Richardson. Mark Verheiden also wrote, he was the executive producer of the Swamp Thing TV series, executive producer of the Daredevil TV series, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the Constantine TV series, Hemlock Grove, consulting producer on Heroes, Falling Skies, co-executive producer of Battlestar Galactica, supervising producer of the TV series Timecop, co-executive producer of Smallville. So it's got a interesting thing. He's written a lot of things, like written for all of those things, among a couple other things. Wrote the movie My Name is Bruce, starring Bruce Campbell. Like Mike Richardson, the other writer, he's actually the creator of, I believe, the Timecop comic book graphic novel series that the movie's based on. Richardson is the creator of Timecop. He's also the he was writer for the Mask book, which turned into the Jim Carrey movie. He as far as movie stuff goes, he was producer on Hellboy: The Crooked Man, The Umbrella Academy, Resident Alien, the movie R.I.P.D. 2, Rise of the Damned, Samurai Rabbit, the original R.I.P.D., Dark Matter, Hellboy the movie, 30 Days of Night, My Name is Bruce, bunch of Hellboy stuff. He's also co-executive producer of the Timecop TV series and executive producer of The Mask, as I was saying, also a producer on the Pamela Anderson movie Barbed Wire. Okay, so that's our writers. The movie stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Walker, Mia Sara as Melissa Walker, Ron Silver as Senator Aaron McComb, Bruce McGill as Commander Eugene Matuzak, Gloria Rubin as Agent Sarah Fielding, and then a bunch of other people. So,
a bunch of people,
Yeah, they don't deserve names. I'm joking. They do.
So it's interesting. So we have two people. One of them is tangentially, is that how you say it? I don't know. Tangentially associated with, because we did Ferris Bueller's the TV show, not the movie. But the actress who plays Max's wife, she was in the movie. And
Sarah.
Sarah. And then the other woman you mentioned, she was in Soul Man, which we unfortunately covered, which was my idea, unfortunately. She was in that movie.
Gloria
right?
Rubin. Gloria Rubin was in that?
I thought it was her, maybe not.
Who do you think she played in that?
Which movie are you talking about now?
Soul Man.
The love interest, the one that
that was Ray Dong Chong.
Okay, yeah. The pretending to be anyway. That's a whole can of worms right there.
I don't think she was in Soul Man. So
okay, pretending to be black so he can have a black girl. It's so fucking terrible. Anyway, I guess so. In this movie, it's not my fault. Okay, it's the I have a condition. I forgot the name of it, where I confuse faces, like it's like
face blindness.
It's like it's not like for everyone, but like sometimes actors specifically what it is. So somewhat similar. I just kind of confused it.
I think they're all the same.
Kind of, yeah. No.
It happens. So, what are your initial thoughts here of this movie?
So it wasn't that bad, actually. I thought it was like a decent movie. It's very 90s, or especially early 90s action. It kept me entertained. I wasn't really bored from it, except for maybe just like a few parts of the movie I thought were kind of redundant. So like for example, I think we had too many scenes with the senator. Like we get it's like he's bad guy, like I don't know, like a lot of the scenes were just very similar, like of him talking to like his right hand man dude and the guy, I guess, or whatever. I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. I remember watching this as a kid, but I forgot most of it. Like I said last night, the only parts I remember is the beginning where he stops the purse thief by like acting like he's gonna kick the guy in the face, and he's wearing Wolverine boots. For some reason, I really wanted Wolverine boots after watching that movie. And then there's like one other scene. Like I think there's a scene like the stock market scene. I think like those are the only two things I remember for the movie. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, if I'm putting myself back in like 1994, it probably would have been like one of the better movies of the year.
Did you want to get some Wolverine boots now?
Not really care anymore. No.
So just letting you know that from what I'm looking here, they range from about $84 to like a couple hundred.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't really care. I don't like boots really. I'm not a boot guy. I don't lick boots and I don't wear them. So
Oh, darn it. I'm going to have to take back the gift I got you. No, John.
well, I'll take them.
I mean, they're 5 sizes too small, but I still bought them for you. Yeah. Anywho, I really liked this movie. I saw it in theaters when it first came out, so it's always had a special place in my heart. I've probably seen it a dozen times or more, but it's been a while since I've seen it and rewatched it for this episode. So I liked it. The Wolverine thing is interesting too, because right around that time, people were trying to say that he might be Wolverine in the X-Men movies that were eventually made later with Hugh Jackman. But at the time he was one of the possible people, as was Bob Hoskins.
Yeah.
Which I find weird. I mean, he was kind of better built around the time that they were looking at it in the 80s. So originally,
True. Even then, though, he wasn't like super fit. I guess back then though, movies didn't really have like jack guys as much. Like, I mean, you had like your Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, you had you did have your Schwarzeneggers and your Dolph Lundgrens and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends on when it would have been made too, because like there's been times where you have your like different types of action heroes from different times. I mean, right now, I think we've got it where we've got kind of a combo of different type of people, because you'll have like, Chris Hemsworth, or you'll have like Tom Cruise. They're not the same kind of bodies. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. But anyways, this movie was a movie. I liked it.
It was, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of plot holes in my opinion when it comes to like the idea of time travel, but that's okay.
Right.
Writing time travel is really hard, or whatever Dean the Dean says in Community.
Yeah, his movie his story Time Desk.
Yeah.
The writings of Dean Dangerous or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what it was called.
So what goes down in this movie here?
So like I was a little bit confused because like the very beginning of the movie, it's in like the 1860s, like during like the Civil War, or just when it's about and they're like there's like these Confederate dudes, they got like a bunch of gold that they're gonna use to pay, and this guy's like, I want your gold or whatever. He's like, whatever, and then he takes out like one of his cool like space guns and kills them. I don't know what that guy to be. Is he just like a one-off, or is he
I think he's a guy that's working for the villain. It's
okay.
Because we learn later that basically Ron Silver's character of McComb, he's going back in time and like stealing money to fund his political campaign. So
like he's like getting billions of dollars, which apparently like no one's suspicious of. Like how this guy just has so much money, like all of his investments pay off. Like what I mean? Like
he all of a sudden has Confederate gold bullion. It's like, really?
It happens. He inherited it, I guess. I don't know. And so we got that scene. That's the very beginning scene, I think. And then he shoots the dudes with like a cool space futuristic machine gun type of thing, which does look pretty badass. It was a really cool prop.
Yeah,
the sounds they made were really nice. And so like then we get to like the future, like our president in 1994. Sean Claude or JCVD as our super fan call. JCVD playing the character Mac.
Well, first we do have a scene where I believe we have a scene where this doctor meets with the Department of Justice to fund
you're probably
the creation of the Time Enforcement Commission, or TEC, to prevent alterations to the past. So because he had discovered time travel, so they want to make sure other people don't fuck it up. And so my thought here around this time is, if you don't want other people to go back in time to fuck things up, destroy all your notes and your time travel equipment.
Right, because then nobody can. Well, I guess they can always go back to the time before they did that. So I guess technically the cat's out of the bag. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you stop it at the inception, it never happens.
Right.
So
True. Yeah, that's true. So I forgot about that because that reminded me of like the show don't tell thing because this was very tell.
Yeah.
It was I'm just gonna tell you what the plot of this movie is gonna be. You know what I mean? Like,
and during this scene, the doctor is very, or whoever the guy that is talking about things is very insistent that, for example, you can't go back in time and kill Hitler. He emphasizes that a lot. Like, I think this guy's a Nazi, even though he was black. But I'm just
maybe he's like an ancestor of Kanye West or something. Maybe he taught him. Maybe he instilled those values into Kanye's mind. No. Yeah, because it's weird because later on that becomes contradicted when other people start fucking with time. But okay, fine. So it's like, so apparently killing Hitler is, one step too far. But like this guy wants to like make a few $1 billion. Whatever, it's fine. Like,
I mean, I always understand that, like, in time travel things and the whole like theory, it's like, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler, or would you kill Hitler, before World War II happens or before the Holocaust and everything? It's just, it's hard to say because if you don't know what would happen. You kill Hitler and then all of a sudden, global warming is sped up somehow or something. You never know what it's going to cause. But
or not only that, if you just nature of time traveling itself may have like done something like a ripple effect that would actually change baby Hitler into like a different type of person, like just from you going back in time without even doing anything. Like just like if he saw you for like a split second, maybe that would have caused some crazy ripple effect that you have no control over, that somehow he actually would have been like a decent painter or whatever. So at that point you're just killing like an innocent baby, you know what I mean? Like
or the thing is, like, you kill Hitler, but then the guy down the street becomes Hitler,
or Donald Trump's boss becomes Hitler, or like whatever, like
somebody else becomes Hitler. It's like you never know. Depends on if you believe in fate or not. But anyways, they create this organization to kind of be quote unquote time cops. And then what happens?
So what happens after that is this really cool band called Timecop 1983, which is like a real band. They go back in time to 1994. Then they record the song at the end of the movie where it actually makes more sense than the song that they chose to be at the end of it. Because if you ever heard them before, Timecop in 1983 is like really cool, like synthetic music. It's like this really cool, like chill wave. Really, really, really good music, really good stuff. And so I think that's the reason why they called the band Timecop 93, because I think they thought this would have been, for one thing, it's just a cool, objectively, it's a badass name.
Yeah.
But like also because it sounds like that kind of futuristic, or think like Tron. Like if you like what you would think like Tron music would sound like in the Tron universe. Although I guess they already had music. Anyway, I'm getting side. So basically what happens is like Max
and Timecop 1983 is just one guy.
Is it just one guy? Oh wow, that's crazy.
Jordy Leonards, who was born in 1983.
Okay,
August 24th. He's and he's only been active since 2014. So unfortunately, he wasn't around the 20 years before that to actually record anything, recording or anything that would have worked for the movie.
I don't know. It's and so Max is Sarah. Is that his wife, or what's his wife's name?
Oh no, Mia Sara is the actress. The character is Melissa Walker.
Well, okay, so Max and Melissa are having like one of these like fake like oh, I'm gonna have an affair, but like they're just talking to each other thing. Oh, I'm waiting for my husband, type of thing. And so like they kiss and stuff, and then like there's like these like objectively futuristic looking guys standing up like by. You just obviously tell these people like it look like they're from like 2050, like with the the way they're dressed and stuff. Like the dumb coat that one guy is wearing looks like how
but in reality they're from the far distant future of 2004,
which is hilarious. So that they thought by 2004, because like for example they got these like Cybertruck looking idiot things that drive like self-driving cars. Like,
I swear Elon watched this movie and then Blade Runner and other futuristic movies like this and totally missed the point of the plots of the movies and just thought, oh, cool car. I designed car and everybody love it because I'm bringing back comedy. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry.
That comedy, shut the fuck up. But yeah, so like you got these dumbass looking self-driving. I mean, they looked okay. They looked better than the actual Cybertruck, but like smaller for one thing. They weren't these big bulky pieces of shit. But like, and so like they go home, they have sex, of course. Back in the 90s when like there was a lot more like love sex scenes. You don't really see them as much or like this nowadays. But back in the 80s and 90s, that was like, I mean, almost every action movie.
It was like a requirement.
It was like at least one sex thing. Nudity was an optional, but usually that, or at least female nudity. Then you had like the guys in butt. Not that I wanted to see.
When you've got a butt like JCVD, you got to put it in a movie.
JCVD, but yeah, I mean, you might as well flaunt it while you got it, So. You got the JCVDB.
Everybody wishes they had JCVDB.
Yes, I wish I had the JCVDB as well. instead of like BDE, it's the JCVDB.
Oh boy!
I hate to disappoint you, ladies. I don't have a BDE, but I have a JCVDB. Hopefully, that will compensate.
Yes.
Anyway. So they make love and stuff. I don't know. Sorry, I'm like laughing. And so like, and then of course, right after, it's always convenient. Right after they have sex, somebody always get a phone call. Like in every movie, it's always like the person always calls like after they have sex. Like they never call during. We're like,
middle of it.
It's always at the end where it's like, oh well, at least I got that over with. Now I can take the call. Anyway,
I mean,
so
it is sometimes in the middle, like for humorous effect, but
true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so she's like, "Hey, don't answer." And he's like, "I have to." Blah blah blah. And so he gets up, gets dressed. She's like, she wants to tell him something important, but he's like, "Can I wait till later?" It's like, fine. Like your dad's gonna happen right there. And so he walks out. It's like a rainstorm. People, those guys from the earlier in the mall, they're back. They just beat the shit out of him. I mean, God, like terribly kick the crap out of him. And then one of the dudes goes up and like, for some reason, I don't really understand the logic of why they had to put Rafe up against the window, met him, other than just to like for like effects, because like. You're gonna blow up the house anyway. What's the point of like whatever?
Yeah.
And then so the house gets blown up for some reason.
And I'm assuming this guy blew himself up too.
That's the thing too. I was wondering. I'm like, wait, why did he just like a suicide bomber?
Somehow he time traveled to the last second. I don't know, but it was just like
you had to be so good at doing that. Like you would have to practice, like because literally, like you still see him holding her against the window like a split second before, and later on we know it takes longer than a split second to go through time. It takes like about 5 seconds. So you're thinking this guy maybe did just off himself, like
for the greater good, I guess.
Or maybe because he already has like a different version of himself somewhere else, so it doesn't really matter type of thing. I don't know. And so we get to the future about with like 5 years, 10 years. I don't remember.
It's 10 years. It's 10 years. It's because the movie takes place. When the house blows up, it's 1994, and then we jump 10 years to 2004.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And so like now he's part of this like task force. He's like one of the best agents that they've got. He's very by the book type of guy. He doesn't really break any of the rules, so like he finds this one dude he's back in 1929 during the stock market crash. And so he just starts buying up like all of these like ridiculous stocks that nobody really thinks is going to make any money up turning the corner. And so he buys like hundreds of thousands of shares to basically become like a billionaire, even a billionaire in 1929 time.
So basically what he's doing is he's doing a Biff Tannen.
He's doing a Biff Tannen. He is, but he's smarter about it. And because instead of just betting on sports, which that alone would give you more pause, because it's like if you're betting on sports, you're always winning. Yeah, they're gonna take notice of you a lot quicker than just being lucky or
yeah. But that's okay. Biff Tannen still became Donald Trump in the second.
It's like no, it's Biff Towers. And that's not just us saying that. The guy who made Back to the Future literally said that's who he based it off. Not speculation. When the creator said so, it's not speculation. And so he gets this new cop who's like supposed to be like his trainee, or not really trainee, his new partner.
By the way, they bring that guy back from To the Future from 1929.
Right.
and
Right,
he used to be. It turns out he used to be Walker's partner, and
right, yeah.
but then he has a trial. But right before the trial, he's telling Walker that that Senator McComb is like doing some bad shit, and raising money to. Yeah, he basically confesses that he works for McComb. He's been funding his failing presidential campaign through time travel.
It's such a
and basically he's afraid that McComb is going to like erase his family from history, including his cat. And he
cares about. He's like, my cat. He's like, whatever. But that's what makes this movie so ridiculous, is because the whole thing is about, I want to fund my presidential campaign. Like, you can't get donors. You can't, like, that's why you're abusing time travel. Like, you're not doing anything like cool. Like, I want to become the next Hitler, or I want to become, ruler of the entire earth. No, I want to raise enough money for my presidential campaign. What?
It does make you wonder if like maybe time travel was involved in Elon Musk and Donald Trump. But
maybe there's this one line though in the movie that really really hit me, because he's talking about the top 10%, not 1%. The top 10%. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier when it came to that dude who moved to Thailand, like psychotic now. So he's like, oh, the top 10% will make a lot more money, if I'm president. So he's probably running for Republic. And then but the other percent will move down to Mexico and have a better life. Basically saying like exchange rate. And that reminded me, we were talking about that dude who moved to Thailand specifically to like, so he could save, like, make more money, like, or have better situations of like living, and so it kind of reminded me of that, like, oh yeah, we'll just move somewhere poorer, and then we'll live like kings, and like the locals will just absolutely despise us because of it. Like, oh yeah, I bought this really nice house in Vietnam that nobody else can afford, but hey, it's cool, it's just like, yeah, good luck, if you get like a butler or maid, they're gonna like poison your drinks, like, and hey, I won't shed it. But anyway, I just think it's hilarious that like that's the plot of this movie. It's like, we gotta stop this guy from traveling time because he's funding his presidential campaign. We never see what he was gonna do as president. Like there wasn't any indication that he was gonna like become a fascist, like he was gonna completely change the nature of the country. It was just, I need money for my campaign, and so I'm gonna kill this cop and his wife and blow up their house because of it.
Like he said, and it's funny too the way he says, when I'm in office, it's going to be just like the 80s. When he says the top 10% will get richer and the other 90% can emigrate to Mexico where they can get a better life.
Right,
yeah.
Which is such an awful racist and classist thing to say. Which again, it means he's probably running as a Republic. Although I don't know, 90s there wasn't much of a difference, so maybe he could have been running either, even independent.
Well, there still isn't much of a difference, but anyways, the
not that. I mean, difference in the fashion aspect, but not money. Like that. When it comes to Israel,
another quote that he has too is he's like, elections are won with television. You don't need the press. You don't need endorsements. You don't even need the truth. You need money.
Yep. I mean, there you go. The wise McComb.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what the fuck happens now? I know that at one point they try to find.
So
go ahead.
Basically, what happens here is we've got they send that Atwood guy, the former partner. He gets sentenced to death, basically. So then they send him back to 1929 and have him die then. I don't understand that, but
that's just the rules, bro. It's like Loki. Didn't they do that with Loki, kind of?
Yeah, but it was like, you got sent back to the time you were from and the place you were from, not, and then you got like pruned or whatever. But it's like, this doesn't make any sense. Like he's from 1994 going back to 29, and so these people in 1929, I mean, I guess they don't have all the, technology to figure out this body, and he was posing as somebody, but it's just weird that this body that wasn't really supposed to be in 1929 is now in 1929.
Right. And he jumped out the window, so they just put him back mid-flight.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So then there's like an ambush at his house, at Walker's house, and by McComb's henchman, and this woman named Sarah Fielding comes in, and basically she's assigned as his new partner to like look over and make sure he's doing everything on the up and up or something.
Yeah.
So they travel back to 1994 to investigate a disturbance that they discover with the younger Macomb. He's about to buy out a computer chip company from this guy, Jack Parker, who is his former partner, who basically is the guy that created the computer chips that then in turn created the TEC and, time travel and all that shit. So while there, the 2004 Macomb arrives to stop the deal, warning his younger self that the chip will soon be worth billions. So he doesn't want to buy him out or whatever. So he now is going to, or he wants to buy him out and take over the company. He doesn't want to be bought out is what I mean. But, so they, we found out earlier that if there's physical, I want to point this out, if there's physical contact between you and yourself, that supposedly matter can't, be in the same, share the same, space. So, or it'll cease to exist. So that's one of the rules in this movie. I don't know if that's like scientifically what would happen, but
I mean, none of it is. But like, yeah, that was weird. That was a weird part of that movie where he's like, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." Would have been hilarious if he did. Now see in the movie, he's like, "Oh."
I mean, there is a lot of that type of thing. I mean, they don't want you to interact with your younger self, like in Back to the Future and different things like that too. So, but he basically the same matter cannot occupy the same space is what they say. So Macomb ends up killing his former partner Parker, and then it's revealed that Fielding is working for Macomb, and she basically betrays Walker. And then there's like this big action piece shootout, and Macomb wounds Fielding and escapes back to 2004. Yeah. So
now he's got power on his face because of it.
Yeah, he's got a scar because he got kicked in the face by Walker. So not Walker, Texas Ranger, but our Walker.
Our Walker, because he's got received.
There's Walker then returns to 2004, which is like changed.
Yeah.
And now Macomb is like the presidential front runner and is like wealthy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, because of all the stocks in the company they bought.
And he's about to shut down the TEC to basically, eliminate any interference in his diabolical plan.
Mark, his diabolical plan of funding his presidential. I can't get over how unbelievably low the stakes are when it comes to better. He just wants money for his campaign.
But if you've seen it, I mean, look at all the damage you can do as president.
True, but it's just like, but he wasn't like running on anything. Like he there's no indication that he was like a fascist or that he was gonna like turn America into like its own very like Nazi America or anything like that. Like just a regular like capitalist politician, like run of the mill like George H.W. Bush or Bill Clinton or even Obama. It's like
Well, I mean, power corrupts, though. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, that's a good point because the younger version of Macomb doesn't seem like much of a bad guy. He seems kind of confused now. So
I mean, one of my favorite lines earlier in there too is like he says, "Do me a favor and lay off the candy bars."
I was gonna say, I literally was thinking about that. I remember that line too. That was one of the lines I remember now. It's like, wait, lay off the fucking candy bars. I'm like, okay, I recognize that one.
So basically, things are all changed in the future, and he has to like, prove to Matuzak, his boss, that they were good friends, like, because like they just don't seem as close in this altered history. Yeah. And they basically end up figuring out that Macomb is using like their original prototype time travel machine. So before everything's done, they end up like, having to like beat up a few guys and stuff. And Matuzak ends up leaving them and helps Walker return back to 1994. But right as he's leaving, Macomb's guards kill Matuzak. So,
but he got him back by like burning him to death. The car, flames or whatever, so I think he got out easy. He got shot, which I'm pretty sure hurts, and I'm pretty sure being burned alive to death is worse. So,
yes,
no, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that's probably not the way I'd want to go.
I wouldn't want to go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I really want to jump out of an airplane and then land on a trampoline and then bounce into another trampoline, and then somehow bounce into a Yugo, like a random car, like a car that doesn't really, I mean, a Yugo, and then have that drive down to a cliff, but I somehow get out and I have a parachute. And then I land safely. And
you do what?
Then I land safely.
Land safely
on the ground. But then a little girl on a tricycle comes up and like hits me with her tricycle, and I fall over onto a fence post and die.
What the? That reminds me of like one of my fever dreams, and I was like 13, where these guys from the government come in, like, the black vehicles. They kidnap me. They put me on a plane, fly me all the way out to the Grand Canyon to like throw me off the cliff of the van. They could just kill me, and the other way. And like, but one of the guys on the plane was trying. He had cold feet, so he tried to protect me, but then the other guys killed him because so he died, and so they just put him away, whatever. And then they took me into the Grand Canyon. They were gonna throw me off, but then either I was falling and then woke up into another dream, or I somehow like managed to escape them and then I think I escaped them and got in the car, and either I drove myself back home or maybe one of the other guys drove me home. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then they drove me into the parking lot of the junior high school that I was going to at the time. And then as I'm out near the field, like where they had we really have a nice field. It was just literally a bald mound. It was just, and so there was like no trees nearby or anything like that. It's just straight up sun. And so then a helicopter shows up, and it's Danny DeVito and his wife, and they're shooting at me from the helicopter, trying to kill me. And eventually I got away from them, I think, and then I woke up. I was like 13 when I had that dream.
Are you sure that was a dream and didn't really happen?
I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. I mean, I don't think there was any bullet holes. I think I got shot at least once. I don't.
And you don't really think that Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman have anything against you, right?
Well, that's the thing too, because I figure I'm like, they seem like they're kind of nice people, so I didn't really think they'd be trying to kill people from a helicopter. Guns.
So back to Timecop.
Back to Timecop, yes.
Walker's back in 1994 now, and he goes to the hospital and finds a recovering Fielding there, and then she's agreeing to testify against McComb. So he leaves the room at one point. He's checking some like hospital records and finds a test tube of blood with a little thing on it. I don't know how this hospital is not secure at all, by the way. Anyways,
it's absolutely it's ridiculous. You just walk in, steal shit, and nobody knows.
He finds a thing, and it says it's got his wife's name on it, and turns out she's pregnant. So, and this happens to be the day of her murder. So, anyways, while this is after this happens, he goes back to Fielding's room, and there's like some kind of needle stuck into her IV tube, and so it's like somebody killed her, and then the bad guys are in the hospital, but the cops are all after Walker because they think he's the one that killed her because he was the only one that they saw in the room, because again the security's horrible in this hospital. And anyways, he goes, he realizing that this is the day of the murder, he ends up going back to the mall and tracks her down and reveals that he's from the future and convinces her to stop his younger self from leaving for work that night.
By telling him pregnant.
Yeah, and making sure that, she tells him that she's pregnant. So that evening, what was that? Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, which the whole thing, the whole movie could have been avoided if he's like, could it wait till later? She's like, sure. It's like, all you gotta say is, I'm pregnant. Like, you don't, what? Like, you don't need, a half hour to tell him something. I
know.
I love you, and here's a poem I wrote. It's 8,000 words, and at the end of it, and I made, a videotape to, celebrate our life together. And by the way, I'm pregnant.
It's like, I've had instances in my life like that where somebody's like, "Hey, Mark, I really need to talk to you. Can we set up a time to talk and stuff?" And then when we finally do, they tell me something that's so benign that could have been a text message.
So they got you all worried and anxious and shit all day.
I'm waiting for 4 hours while I'm at work or wherever or something, just being like, "Oh my God, does he have cancer? What's going on?"
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Something really serious. Yeah, no.
And then it ends up being, it's like, "Oh, I just wanted to, tell you that, I think we can go to lunch next week."
You're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Some lunch. We gotta go sometime to TGI Fridays again. Remember, we used to go there like every month.
Oh,
it
I know.
seemed like, or like every week, I think, for a while.
Is there still any around?
There's still the one that we used to go to. I think that
Oh,
one's
it's
still
still
around.
around? Okay, cool. We'll have to do that.
I think it was because
And
remember
by
those
the
drinks that have those non-alcoholic slushies or whatever they
yeah,
were.
those are so good.
They were good. I know.
And by the way,
Blue
we are
Red.
not sponsored by TGI Fridays, but if you would like to sponsor us, TGI Fridays, we can even switch the day of the week that we release our show to Fridays to coincide with you. It can be.
Why not?
We'll even call the show TGI Fridays presents All Too Real 2. You know, whatever you want, just give us money.
I mean, it's like the Poly Market studio for Young Turks are. You know, we'll sell our soul.
We'll
But,
sell it
hey,
to TGI
yeah,
Fridays.
well, at least they have good food and the Poly Market gambling company that you can't even use in the United States where they're promoting the show, which is in the United States.
At least you can eat the food in the United States.
You could, yeah, you could actually, yeah, like you could eat, like you don't have to order it and then go to France, eat your dinner, and then fly back, you know, or whatever. But they used to have these really cool slushies. The blue raspberry was great. I was gonna say something, but I totally forgot what I was gonna. Oh no, it had something to do with driving. Was it driving? Oh shit, what was it? Well, I do remember that thing where Merry Christmas, Mom and Dad. I'm dead. Because some kid ran right in front of me when I was driving. I could have easily run him over if I wasn't paying attention. And so I was like, get really angry. I think I even yelled at him through the window. And then like, I was like really super pissed at him. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah, you know, you just go run in front of traffic and, you know, and then eventually, you know, let's say you did it on Christmas. And you go, Christmas.
Oh boy.
Get better times, better days.
Good days, good times, good times. So yeah. So anyways, he that night, he gets back to the house and encounters McComb's henchmen attacking a younger version of himself and Melissa. And so both of the walkers and Melissa fight them off. And then the 2004 McComb arrives and takes Melissa hostage and threatens Walker with a C4 explosive. And he's accepting that he'll die in the blast, but he's confident that without Walker's interference, his younger self will become president.
Right.
I was not understanding that completely, but I kind of do now.
But he did younger self with them. I mean, Max did.
Oh yeah, but that comes up next. But what I'm saying is his idea was that he didn't know that his younger self was going to be there. But what he was, but what he was thinking is that you know, even if the older version dies, then the younger version will become president and then change the future, and I'll still be alive or something. I don't know.
How would it making sense? Because yeah, I mean,
time travel is hard. Anyways,
well, that's the thing. They said that you couldn't go into the future in the beginning, but you can because he's been going into it. So that part of the movie is wrong. Like at the very beginning.
No, his younger self is he's only going in the past and then coming back to the future.
Oh, okay.
You can do that,
right? Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, right. Okay. I understand now.
Like the younger McComb or Walker couldn't go to 2004, but the 2004 Walker and McComb can go back to 94 and then back to 2004. So yeah.
Right. Okay. And so can you tell how Max is eventually committed murder against an innocent man? Because I was happy.
What was that?
But he pushes the younger McComb into the other one, so they both die.
That's what he does. So what happens is he's got this C4 explosive and he's got Melissa in his arms. McComb does. So he basically he had lured the 1994 McComb to the house, and then he pushes the two McCombs together, causing them to merge into this creepy, writhing like CGI mess. And
oh, it was so scary than any new shit that you find. Like
yeah. And then he basically ends up disappearing from existence. And like
Yay.
I don't. So my thing is, does that mean he never existed, or he just stopped existing in 1994? I'm thinking. I think. Well, they do mention something where they say that he left from work that day and canceled all of his meetings and never showed up again.
Okay, but why would why would he do whatever? But no, so he murdered the innocent version of the guy.
But
what? Why? Like that?
but to be fair, the younger version went along with the shit where they murdered Jack Parker earlier, so he wasn't really innocent.
The guy killed him first. He had no idea, and then he told him to invest in this. He didn't. He wasn't like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and shoot my partner." Like he just did it because he was like.
I think he was going along with things though, so I don't think he's innocent.
Maybe not. Maybe I misunderstood that. I don't know. He seemed kind of like nervous and scared, but maybe he was just because he was doing so highly illegal.
But then again, it's kind of like the whole like, do you kill Hitler before he becomes evil? It's like
I know, but I don't know, but
yeah.
But then who say then that he wasn't? Yeah, well, it's hard to time travel is really hard to write about. Because I was thinking, go ahead.
So this is where I get confused here. So then the house explodes and they get out of the house and McComb lays his wife next to his younger self on the ground. And so he goes back to 1994 and he finds Matuzak and Fielding are still alive now. So everything's good. And that McComb disappeared in 1984, erasing his future crimes. So he returns home and it's the same house, but I thought it was blown up 10 years before.
Maybe they built a new house on the same land. I don't know.
See, that's what doesn't get me. Cause like it says, like Wikipedia says that he discovers his house rebuilt, but I'm like, God, they rebuilt it to look exactly like some kind of like Victorian house that I don't know, but
right. Yeah. It didn't look as cool as the old house. And then he's got a son.
No, it did. No, what I'm saying is that they rebuilt it to look exactly like a house that's like a Victorian house from like, hundreds of years ago that I don't know. It's just like usually when you're building a new house, you don't, build it exactly the same. Maybe they decided to.
And I remember what I was going to say a little bit ago. So what it was when we were talking about TGIF being sponsored by them, it said, I go, what we won't be sponsored by, no matter how much money it would throw our way, is Steak and Shake because of the stupid ad campaigns they're doing with like, we got beef tallow. And they had a little thing with like a Bitcoin on the car. And I'm like, you guys are really going all in on this, really? Like I'm sorry, but like nobody is attracted to the sound. Like even if like you think like oh yeah, we stuck it to the libs by like just the like saying the word beef tallow isn't gonna like make people like salivate like, oh, can't wait to go to Steak and Shake and get my beef tallow French fries. Like what?
And like, I mean, even if you do that, that's cool. But they literally post like MAGA stuff on their page, and it's like you're alienating half of your potential customers. But
food sucks. Anyways, I'm sorry, it sucks. But like it's not
who should have a partnership with TGI Fridays though is Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they can change the name of the restaurant to JCVD Fridays, and
Yes, and every month he comes there and does like a dance where he shakes his butt at the JCVD,
stretches his legs up on the counter like he does one scene in the movie. There's a scene in the movie where he's like trying to not get electrocuted, so he like does the splits on the kitchen counter. Yeah,
that was a badass move, man. He's like, yeah. Oh God.
But anyways, they have a young son now too, and everything's cool. So. And that's how the movie ends, with then a version of "Time Won't Let Me" by the Smithereens, which does not fit at all. I mean, the idea of it being about time makes sense, but yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when they show movies on TV and they would speed up the credits near the end, sometimes they would a song that's not even like the actual song that they played in the actual movie. I mean, like the end credits of the act. And so it's usually some song that had like nothing to do. That's what it reminds me of. But this was like the actual theatrical version of it.
It's kind of like when you're watching like the news and they do this like sad story and then they cut to a commercial and the commercial's like, come on down to Frank's restaurant and buy yourself some. You're just like, what the fuck?
It's just like the dichotomy of man, like where we got this capitalist enterprise that on the one hand, gives us the news, which at this point, almost nobody watches the new. I think it's go online to watch YouTube channels that are favorite news channels that they read.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. No one reads anymore, unfortunately. But like whatever, and everyone's Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh well.
Anyways, anything else to say about Timecop?
No, I just say it's a pretty decent movie. It was entertaining. Special effects were probably kind of good for its time, I would say.
Yeah, like I said, it's based on a comic book. It did have a short-lived 13-episode TV series on ABC with only 9 episodes aired. Follow-up wasn't about Walker; it was about another person. The only character to make the transition was Matuzak, but he was played by instead of Bruce McGill, he was played by Don Lake, who people may know as Mr. Pinciotti from that 70s show. So yeah.
Hey, what?
Yes.
Wait.
The
Oh
TV
my god.
Yeah. Matuzak, the boss, was played by Don Lake in that show. Yeah. Yeah, and then we did have a follow-up movie that takes place like 21 years after the first movie, but came out in the early 2000s, called Timecop 2, something about Berlin. I can't remember the whole name, but maybe in the near future we'll cover some of those things, because I think I've maybe stay in the not right away, but maybe we'll come back and revisit the Timecop land, I was going to say, but yeah. Yeah.
The lore. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole franchise. But yeah, yeah, like that. There's something you can do if you have a time machine. Go back in time and invest in the stock market, and then invest in our show. You can join our Patreon or buy some merch or just sponsor us. You know, I do believe we may have, I can't remember if I put it on the website, but I think we have a way that you can just give us some money via PayPal or Venmo. I got to look at the website, but yeah. So you can do that.
You don't have to be like a monthly shit or whatever. Like,
yeah, if you want to throw us $5, do it. But if you want to throw us $5 a month, that'd be even better. And, get some like cool perks in the process.
Yeah.
Also, just share the show with your friends. You know, you don't have to time travel to do that.
No, you don't.
No. Yeah. Just, be good to each other. Free Palestine. Trans lives are human lives. No human is illegal. Fuck the patriarchy. Fuck the oligarchy. And just, remember that I love you.
Just
lay off the fucking candy bars.
No, I will not. It's my one vice.
Your one vice. I'll send a time cop after you to stop it. No, Sesame loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.